Hallelujah. In the name of Lord Jesus Christ, we shall continue to study from the book of Joshua. So our previous class, our last class was 3 days ago. That on Monday, we touched upon two concepts. On Monday, we touched upon two concepts from the Joshua chapter 1. The first concept that we touch upon from Joshua chapter 1 is that everybody die. That generation come, generation go. That once upon a time, the young and strong Moses, now after 40 years, in the wilderness, another 40 years leading the people of Israel, that his generation has gone. Flipping the page to the next new chapter, the new generation. So not long ago, I was sitting there as one of the students. Then now I'm up here. That is your generation now. Very quick, before you know it, you will get to my age and you will see the younger generation arise. That's how it is. Generation come, generation go. That, like it or not, we all aging. For you at your age, you might feel that aging is a good thing. That you get older, now you are adult, you are able to drive, you are able to provide, you are able to create your own future, make your own decisions. So perhaps at this age, you feel that, oh, I can't wait to be independent. Only until when you are really on your own, then perhaps you will miss the days that you are well cared of and provided. Because very soon, instead of being the one to ask, you might be the one that obligate to provide. Your world could be very different. You can no longer live in the way that you want just because you like it, but you have to live in the way that you are able to provide. That's called growing pain. So number one, we all die. But along the process, that eventually we all die, but everyone die with a different value. Different value, different different value, different reward, and different meaning. So number one, that we all die. Number two, that the Bible says that Moses, my servant. That's the remark. That's the tombstone remark for Moses. That the Lord openly proclaimed that he is my servant. So again, when we eventually one day, when you are about to pass on, what is the remark that you wish? What is the remark that you might receive? That carving by the Lord on your tombstone. That what would it be? Okay, like for King David, the carving, the final remark that he got is, he is the man that after God's heart. So that's a remark. But what would be yours? That's what we touch upon. I know verse 1, verse 2, verse 3. Happy. All right. So now for this class, we need to continue. As we will start from today, we will continue to have the book of the Joshua almost on the daily basis. So in chapter, again, I assume you all read it. Okay, I assume you all read it. If not yet, don't tell me because you have too much homework from other instructors. Because I see you have a lot of chit-chatting time. We are trying to be, we are trying, we try not to be very nagging. We try not, the counselor, like the instructor, we do understand that you want some time to talk, to meet each other. It is good. It is good that you get to meet new friends. It is good that you get to mingle, but when you spend all the time chit-chatting and missing out your homework, or not reading the book of Joshua, then perhaps you are lacking of self-discipline. So if you spend all the time chit-chatting, not fulfilling your obligation, that's called irresponsible. If you spend all the time chit-chatting and never ever show up for the volunteer prayer in the prayer room, that means you are lacking of sense of priority. So remember what we talk about maturity. What differentiate mature and immature is not age. Is your sense of obligation, your sense of responsibility. How you prioritize your time determine if you are a mature person or you are a childish person. Okay, so I expect that you spend time to read ahead. Joshua chapter 1, Joshua chapter 2. I believe I will go beyond chapter 3. I believe. You need to have some confidence with me. Okay. Yeah. So you say. Yeah. From your facial expression, that's not what it says. Okay. Okay. Chapter 1. Now everything began by saying, Moses, my servant, died. The Lord was speaking to Joshua. The Lord was speaking to Joshua and say, now Moses died. It is your turn. Now arise and lead my people, continue the journey, and guide them into the promised land. So the Lord called upon Joshua, and from the very beginning in chapter 1, let's do a quick reading. Let's read verse 2. Also, we talk about in verse 3 that all the promise in the Bible is called conditional promise. Conditional. Please imprint that in your mind, not just on the paper. You have to remember everything in the Bible is called conditional promise, including heavenly kingdom. So the Lord promised you and said that I will go and prepare a place for you. That's a promise. But that promise is for who? It's for those who are able to fulfill their end of bargain. Okay? It's not a free gift. It's not just because you want it, you are going to have it. It doesn't work like that. For example, today, if today is your birthday, and I decide to bake you a strawberry cheesecake. That doesn't work well. I decide to bake you a cake. Okay, you can dream on one of this day, maybe. Yeah. If I decide to bake you a cake, and then I knock on the door, and I say, Brian, here you go. Happy birthday. I got you something. And Brian in his room, sitting on his rocking chair like an old man comfortably, he's like, wow, Pastor, that's so nice of you, so kind of you. I love cake. And I'll be standing there and say, open the door then. And he's like rocking his chair. He's like, oh, I can totally smell. Wow, it smells so good. The cake. I couldn't wait to dig into. And I just stand there and say, open the door then. But you know what? How very often that's our relationship with God. The Lord presents us a gift, a wonderful gift. And then you say, oh, I love it. I want it. Oh, yeah. But you never get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your rocking chair. You never unlock the door and invite me in. So, you know what happened? I go home and I eat the cake myself. And I get diabetic. Yeah. So, you know what? In the Bible, please do remember it's all conditional. It's not a free, you do nothing gift, like how you ask money from your parents. Yeah, you have to prove yourself. That's why it's called conditional. Right? You want to enter into the promised land, receive the promise. The Bible says that God said to Abraham, God said to Joshua, God said to Moses that the land that you step upon, you need to put into action. Okay? Same thing with the heavenly kingdom. Okay? You want it? Wonderful. What you going to do about it? Okay? You want heavenly kingdom, you want eternal life, you want the blessing of the Lord, you want to see how God work wonders in your life. Fine, wonderful. What you going to do about it? What you going to do about it? Conditional. All right. So let's continue. So start from verse 3. Yeah. If we go on to you know what? That's too much to read. Let's go from verse 5. Verse 5. No one will be able to oppose you all the day of your life. That's a very interesting statement. Because you all know this very well, right? No one can stand oppose you. And not long after that, we have what? The victory in Jericho, followed by the defeat in the city of Ai. And you're like, wait, what's going on here? The Lord said no one can stand oppose you. Then what happened to the city of Ai? What do we say? Conditional. Conditional promise. Everything. Do not just feel that, oh, because God said no one can stand opposed of me, so I can lay flat on the ground and all my enemy will just collapse and die. No. Conditional. Right? You do your share, you fulfill your obligation, you do what you can for the things that you cannot. You trust in God. Okay? That's the condition. The condition is that at least you need to do your share. And then you pray, you trust that God will guide you. And then you will see the victory. Okay? So that's the condition. So now the Lord said to him, the Lord said to him that no one can stand oppose you. That how I was with Moses, I will be with you. I will not desert you, not abandon you. Verse 6 and on. Okay? Start from verse 6. Here says that, be strong and of good courage. Oh, be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous, for you shall give this people possession of the land which I sworn their forefather to give them. Only be strong and very courageous. Be careful to do according all the law which Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, for that you may achieve success wherever you go. Verse 8, this book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate it day and night, so that you may be careful to do according to all that is written in it. That you will make it. Verse 9. Have I not commanded you, be strong and good and courageous? Do not be terrified nor dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Okay? So now if we take what we just read, you will find out there's a pattern. There's a pattern. You can give the pattern a name called be strong and courageous because it was mentioned 3 times. The Lord 3 times mentioned to Joshua, be strong and courageous, be strong and courageous, be strong and courageous. In fact, in chapter 1, it was mentioned 4 times. 4 times. If you go all the way to the end, that in verse 18, at the very end, that only be strong and courageous. So that you found the pattern in the conversation, or shall I say that in the instruction from God to Joshua. God 3 times told Joshua, be strong and courageous. So 3 times from God, 1 time from people. 1 time from people. So now what does that tell you? What does that tell you when the Lord 3 times that he need to say to Joshua, be strong and of good courage and courageous. When do you keep on saying to someone, be strong and be courageous? When do you say that? You say that to someone who is terrified. Terrified. So from the description of the Bible, apparently God knows that Joshua was afraid. Joshua was terrified. He was terrified. You know that from the stories that we know about Joshua, he was like faithful, he was powerful, he was a experienced warrior. He guided the people, he led them to the battle, he fought, he defeated the enemy. So you know what? For years at this time, Joshua was not a young man. You have to remember, at this time he was not young. He was not like a 12, like a 17 years old, 18 years old, like 22. Like, you know that when you newly graduate from college, you file for application for, you send your resume, and then when you sitting for the first interview, that you are what? Terrified, right? Because you have no experience. You have no experience. But if you have been working for 15, 20 years, you are experienced, you are top of the tier, and then you got into an interview and said, well, yeah, let me see your offer. Let me see your offer. Why? Because the ball is in your court. Yeah. But at this time, Joshua was not a young man. You have to remember, when he came out of Egypt, Joshua and Caleb, they were over 20 years old already. After 40 years in the desert, this time Joshua is over 60 years old, older than me. And he was not a newbie. He was not a newbie. Yeah, he has been working with Moses, fighting with the enemy. He wield the sword. He know how to kill. All right. So this is an experienced warrior, a long-term assistant of Moses. He knew what need to be done in terms of administration. Right? So he know how to run the team. He know how to run the operation. He know how to fight the enemy. So from all different aspects, there is no reason for him to be afraid. There's no reason. If you were Joshua, most likely, if you were Joshua, when the Lord say to you, now Moses, my servant, died, and you were like, finally. Right? You know that man has been sitting on the on that position of leadership for so long. I thought he would never die. Yeah, I have been waiting for this day to prove myself. Wait, no, sorry, that's the British king. What is his name? Charles. You know, I always feel so bad for this guy because his mother lived so super long, right? Yeah. I thought they would just pass him and give the throne to the grandson. Yeah. Yeah. But you know what? Sometimes if you feel that you know the stuff, you can do it, you are talented, but that old man just wouldn't die. Yeah, I've been waiting. So you know what? Usually for someone who is very, very well around, experienced and able talent, you just want to prove yourself. So when Moses died, supposedly that Joshua will be like, finally it's my turn. It's my turn. But that's not how it is. That's not how it is. As much as Joshua was experienced in both operation, administration, as much as he know exactly how to run the big group of Israel, as much as he was a warrior, but he was afraid, fear. He was not afraid because of lacking of experience. He was not afraid because he didn't know what to do. He was afraid because this is the work of the Lord. The work. This is the entrustment, the commission of the Almighty God. That's why he was afraid. That's why he was afraid. He was afraid because this is important. This is crucial. This cannot be done by my power, my talent, my experience, my ability. He knew it's not about him. So that's why the Lord spoke to him. Today, when you are assigned to help the holy work, the church work, if you never feel afraid, God will never speak to you. If you never feel the stress, if you do not feel nervous about your assigned duty, hymn singing, hymn leading, piano, interpretation, RE class, or sermonizing, if you never feel the nervousness, instead of you're like, yeah, my turn, I will show the whole church my, like a show stage, like for people to see my ability. God will never speak to you. God will never speak to you. Okay, so then here the Lord spoke to him because not only he took it seriously, but he was terrified. For this is the work of the Holy God. Okay? So when he was afraid, the Lord appeared to him, and the Lord 3 times. The Lord 3 times said to him that be strong and courageous. And we need to further, because 3 times. 3 times that the Lord spoke to him. Let's see, from verse 7. Oh, sorry, it's not verse 7. Start from verse 6. No, 在哪里? Oh, verse 6, yeah. So, why the Lord told him about being strong and courageous, and there are 3 things mentioned. 3 things mentioned. Number 1, I made a promise. The Lord said, you shall be strong and be courageous. If I made a promise, I will see through it. So it's a promise for those who fulfill the end of bargain will definitely be, it will, the promise will be fulfilled for sure, certainly. So so The reason that you can be strong and of good courage, because what you are doing comes with the promise of God. Second, abide by the abide by the law, by the rules and regulation of the Lord. Okay? And number 3, for I am with you. Okay? So if you take the 3 times that the Lord say, be strong, don't be afraid. Okay? If I made you a promise, I will make sure that it happen. Okay? You know that the thing is, the promise from people is not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. Okay? You know that you probably also in your life, you probably run into that as well. People make you a promise and then they lie to you. Okay? Or sometimes it's not intentional. Some people that they intentionally lie to you, we call that scammer, liar. But sometimes they do not. Maybe they do not intend to lie to you, but then things happen. They just couldn't fulfill their promise. Let me give you a good a simple, straightforward example. Your friend on Sunday morning, they say, let's meet up. So your friend told you, we will meet at 10 o'clock, and then we will go grab some coffee and donut. And you were like excited over donut, not with your friend, not because of the friend. It's just a donut. Yeah. Okay. So you are excited. Hey, Sunday I get to hang out with my buddy. Yeah, so excited. So Sunday morning, 9:45, you arrived, but your friend did not show up. Possibility number 1, he totally forgot about it. Possibility number 2, he overslept and the alarm did not woke him up. Right? There are many different scenarios. Number 1, maybe he was just having fun with you. Like, get you there and purposely not to show up. Some people are like that. Yeah, they just play with you. So you show up, excited, and found out that you are the only one there. Nobody else, no one else showed up. And we call that bullying. But anyway, whatever. Sometimes the people do it intentionally. Sometimes people do it unintentionally. They do not fulfill their promise. Sometimes they want to, but they cannot. When you are there and angry, it's 10:15. How dare you to stand me up? And then the next thing you know that he got into a car accident and currently in the emergency room. Things happen. What I'm saying is, human promise, there are many possibilities that they won't fulfill. They cannot. Whether intentionally, unintentionally, people's word might not be fulfilled, or people's promise might not be fulfilled, because people are limited. But number 1, you have to remember that God made you a promise. When he said that he will go and prepare you a home in heaven, that's a promise that never changes. You can certainly, without a doubt, that it shall happen as long as you fulfill your part. There is no way that you did all your part and then you found out that there is no heaven. Right? The Lord will not lie to you, for his promise is absolute, unlike human beings. Okay? So number 1, it says that I made you a promise. I made a promise to the forefather. I made a promise to Abraham. I made a promise to Jacob. I made a promise to Moses. I made a promise to you. You go and you shall conquer the land, and you shall possess the land. That's a promise. So be strong, for I am there. So number one is a promise. Number two is condition. Remember, everything that we say is conditional. Conditional. So promise followed by condition. So this is your end of bargain. Your end of bargain. The Lord say, be strong and courageous. This is what you need to do. It's not something very vague. It's not something very abstract. It's not something that after you put in all your effort and then you realize that's not what the Lord wants. The Lord made it very clean, clear cut. Same thing for you. Same thing for the journey to heaven. The Lord doesn't give us an ambiguity. There is no ambiguity. We create a lot of ambiguity in our life because we love to question. We love to doubt. We love to question. For example, when the Lord say, keep yourself holy, but we respond by saying, how far can I go? That's not abiding by. That kind of mentality create a lot of tragedy in human life. We always, the Lord simply say, keep yourself holy. And then you just keep on trying to push the boundary and testing it. How far would I go before it is too late? Right? Just like standing on the cliff and you're like, would I fall off? Like with yourself blindfolded. And you're like, I think I should be all right. Did you see I can do it with 1 foot? Then, before you know it, the things, those people who fall off the cliff never thought that they would fall off the cliff, isn't it? You see that there are those, I don't know, like those people who are like a daredevil thing. Workers. That's just purely dumb. That you see those daredevil that they are doing like a gymnastic on the cliff, this and that, and in order for them to get more and more click, like more and more hits, you think that the thing is they feel, they believe that they will be able to get through the day, but there's a reason that they end up on the news because they did not. But the thing is, by the time they realize that they cannot make it, it's usually too late. Yeah, as they were falling off from the cliff in the, what is that place in Arizona? Great Canyon. Yeah. As you were falling off, you're like, oops. I wish I could, make a difference. You know that when you fall off, it's too late. So the Lord give you a very simple instruction, but human minds, we love to create scenario that enable us, allow us to keep on testing the boundary. I think it's all right. Until it's too late. So the Lord made it very clear to Joshua, you abide by the law, I shall be with you. This is the result. So the Lord made the promise. The Lord provide the condition. The Lord show you the result. There is nothing to be afraid, for I am with you. That's a solid confirmation. That's a solid confirmation from the Lord that there's nothing to be afraid if the Lord is there with you. Many years ago, that there was a mother came and talked to me. He said that I am not sure if I want my son to continue to come to church. And I was very surprised. I was in shock because the mother is very active in the church, very religious, very active in the church. And now I was in shock. I was like, why would you say that, right? And she was very. You can see a lot of struggle, a lot of yeah. She said that I don't know if I should let my son continue to join RE class, coming to church, and joining SSC. The kids were still young, in SSC stage. And I was like, what make you say that? Why would you say that? And she said that, Pastor, do you see that my son is such a good child? And I was like, okay, and that's a problem. You know what? That was a problem for her. She said that, Pastor, did you see that my son is kind, gentle, obedient, loving, so nice to people? And I was like, so that's our fault now. So that's a problem. That's RE department's problem. So we are at fault that brought you up a nice, gentle, kind, loving, considerate child. And she said that's what worries her. She said that of course, you really thank God for a good child. But at the same time, knowing the world is very vicious, right? The outside the real world is very competitive, is very aggressive. Outside world is just mean. And she said that I am so afraid if my child is too nice, he would not be able to compete and he wouldn't be able to be success. So I was like, okay, so you are saying that you prefer to have a very cunning, very crafty, very sneaky, like this, so a habitual liar. So this is what you want. And she's like, no, but I was like, but what? I was a little bit frustrated. I was like, sister, I was being very strong, loud, rude. I was like, sister, do you believe in God? And she said, Pastor, of course. I was like, no, you don't. I told the sister that you only believe God as a knowledge and as a habit. I said, sister, do you believe that the God that you worship is almighty? She said, Pastor, of course I do. I said, no, you don't. I was very mean. I could be very mean. I am much nicer now. Yeah. That's called aging. Yeah. So you know what? I was a little bit frustrated. But I do understand why she was so concerned. Because outside the world, people could be really nasty in order to get something that they want. Okay? So she was so afraid that the innocent child would not be able to survive in such an awful environment. But I told the sister, if you do believe that our God is almighty, in control of all, and he is there with your son every step of the way, what is there that you worry about? Yes, outside the world is vicious. They are, people that they are like predators, like they are mean, they are aggressive. Yes, there are people like that outside in the world. But if God is there with your child every step of the way, what is there that you are afraid of? You know that when you graduate from college, when you start working, You are dealing with a lousy world, right? People with very low morality, people no boundary and principles. I'm not saying all people like that, but there are many people like that. They will do whatever in order to get things their way, right? But let me tell you, if God is for you, who can go against you? Before I become a full-time preacher, I worked for 10 years. After I graduate, I worked for 10 years. And within that 10 years, that basically my career path is very interesting. I climbed very fast in corporate ladder. There was time, I told you yesterday that I was running the whole department. And in that department, I was the one with the lowest education. I'm not telling you education is not important. Okay? I'm telling you, if God is willing to open a way for you. You know that people ask me, why are you the boss of the department? You know that one of my nicely you can call her teammate, but it's my subordinate. I was running the department, and one of my department co-workers, I was 20 some years old. She is over her 50, and she is a licensed CPA with real CPA certificate. You know that I have my own office. So one day, she literally kicked the door open. I don't know how, she probably held it in for a long time. She just kicked the door open, went up to my desk and pounded my table. And she was like, why are you my boss? I was like, what, 23, 24? And I look at her, I was like, good question. You need to ask the big boss. Yeah. I don't know. In fact, I don't know why am I her boss. I don't know. She's much more senior. She has a CPA license. And she was like, I am a CPA. But I was like, but this is not accounting department. I was not in the accounting department. But she was just so angry. So she kicked the door open. She slammed the door when she leave. But I was her boss. And the only reason, very simple, because God says so. That's it. Seriously, it happened to me quite often. I was able to get a high promotion, when I decide to leave a company. I was fired. In my entire life, I only got laid off once because the boss want me to work on Saturday. The boss told me one day after working for a while, I mean, the job pays, the pay is not bad at all. Job is very easy, pay is pretty good. But one day the boss called me to the office and said that we are forming a new structure and you are leading the new team, task force. So all the sales departments from like different part of the state of the United States, every Saturday that they fly in, and you need to chair the meeting. Every Saturday. And I told my boss that in the interview, I told you I don't work on Saturday. And he said, do not ask what the company can do for you. Ask what you. I was like, where did you get that from? That's such an old stuff. Yeah. Literally, he said that to me. I was just like, you know what? How about me not taking the promotion? I told my boss that, why don't we forget about the promotion and the raise? Let me stay where I am. You find someone else to chair the team. And he literally said to me, you can take the promotion or you can walk. And I stood up and said, well, I walk then. See, walking. Did you see? Walking. So the boss was surprised though. The boss was in shock that I would actually choose. So I mean, he was threatening me. So I was just like, you know what? No. You made it very clear. Either I take the promotion or I walk. So I walk. So I still remember as I was packing, and I was just like, during around noontime packing and get my stuff ready because now he want me to walk, right? I walk. Yeah. The thing is, he want me to walk, but he doesn't want to lay me off. If he lay me off, he need to give me the severance pay. Like he need to pay me. I said, you know what? Forget about that part. I quit. How about that? Make it easier for you. I quit. Yeah. So as I was packing, I was driving. I was on the way home. I was crying though. I don't usually cry, but I was crying driving on the way home. Not because I lost my job, okay? I did not get fired. I quit, right? So I was driving on the way home. I was crying. And the only reason I cry is because I feel finally, like maybe not the first time, but first time in my life, in the major decision of my life, I am able to stand firm for my faith, for the Lord. It was very in the past, like when you were younger in school, a lot of decisions that you made or your parents make you to like being here, like a lot of time, those are just like okay, yeah, no big deal. But for you to walk away from your job and knowing that you need to start the whole process of looking for a job, etc., all these things, paying the bill, like that's not easy. And I was crying because I feel finally I am doing something that I can tell God that for you anything. That's why I was crying. That you feel that finally you're able to repay just a little bit. I stand up for my faith. Okay? So I was driving home, but the thing is, I was just wondering, what should I? At that time, I lived with my parents. So I was just like, how should I tell my mom? Because that for the job, I got a loan for the car. Good thing that I live with them, so I eat from their table. I don't get allowance though. I don't get allowance from my parents. But yeah, I was just like, what should I say to my mom? So I show up. Around noontime, and my mom is at home. And she was like, oh, you home early. And I was just like, I got laid off. And my mom was like, wow, thank God, my prayer has been answered. I was like, what? She said at that time my mom was running NYTS, and she said that she was short-handed. So she has been praying for extra hand. And she doesn't mind her son being laid off from work in order to provide the extra hand. My mom was like, wow, thank God. Good that you got laid off. Now, NYTS, huh? Yeah. So I just said, okay, fine. So you know what? Actually, I took a long break. From summer, helping out NYTS, all the church events, etc. And my mom told me that I have been so stressed for everything. Just take easy on myself. So I took several months, and then I decide. Well, around December, I decided. Well, it's time to, get back to track. With after finish all the church event, whatever. I spent a long time living in the church, reorganizing all the church library and CDs, cassettes. I sent out my first resume in the morning. I got interview and got hired in the afternoon. Okay, I sent out the first resume, but it's kind of ridiculous. I sent out the resume, and after 1 hour, I got a phone call and said, "Can you come in for interview?" And now I just like, okay, yeah. So I went and I looked around. Said, this is not what I want. So I figured that I would just use that as a interview practice. I will use them as an interview practice. I don't want to work for them. So because it looked like just a small office, so it's just not very organized. They're not very well organized. So throughout the interview took about more than an hour and a half. And then at the end, they say, oh, you know what? We are really interested in hiring you. In my heart, I but I'm not interested to work for you. Yeah. So they asked me, how much salary? What's the salary range that you are looking for? We were sitting across, like interviewer and I were sitting across each other. So I was right. I did not say anything. I wrote on the paper. And I roll like, with my arm, like for him. So I rolled it like with my arm, like in different direction. And then he looked at the number, he said, it is kind of high. I was like, that's not high, okay? And he said, we cannot give you this. How about this number? He wrote another number which is about 50% higher than the number that I wrote. He read it wrong. Somehow the number that I wrote, he read the number wrong. Okay. So he offered me something way higher than my previous job, way higher than what I was asking. So when he wrote and said, can you accept this, at least for the probation period? And after probation, we will see if we can give you what you want. So, I have to play, I was just like, oh, well, I will take it. Yeah. So that's how I got a huge raise from my previous job. And the funny thing is, I have no idea why. They hired me on December, the interview is on December 22nd. December 22nd. December 23rd, I show up, no work. They just take me around, and then the company treat me for lunch. December 24th, the boss told the whole company, tonight, the boss chartered the entire Japanese restaurant, and he said, tonight, we meet, bring whoever you want. There's no limit of how many people you can bring. There's no limit. The boss is super wealthy. Yeah. So it ended up that the first day I worked, I didn't really do anything. The second day in the morning, we only did half day, and it was the party day with like gifts. So I was given, I still have the set, a gold-plated tea set with real gold. And not only that, the boss is like, oh, everyone, thank you for the effort in the entire year. Here is a bonus. I got a year-end bonus. Like $2,000 for working half day. To the point that you feel kind of guilty taking them. Oh, but I took it out, yeah. You feel kind of guilty, Yeah, you worked so hard for the entire year. No, I did not. And then we enter into holiday, 2 weeks, and I get paid for the holiday. Yeah, salary I'm salary based, so holiday I still get paid. So for my entire, I interview, did nothing, party day, year-end bonus, 2 weeks paid vacation. So that's how they begin. And later I realized that's at first it was just small office. It's like very not very organized. Then I realized that they are a huge corporation, super wealthy, monopolized the market, monopolized the company that just newly in US. I was talking to the boss. The boss is like, oh, you know what? I prepared 10 million to squander away for the first few years. So he said that if we lost like 10 million, then I would be serious about my investments. He prepared 10 million to lose for the first 3-4 years. I was just like, okay, I'm staying. Yeah. But what I want to remind you is, there's nothing to be afraid when the Lord is there. But the things you have to remember is not that the law is not that it shouldn't be that law stand by my side. It shouldn't be that way. It should be the other way around. It should be like, law, I will be on your side so that you are always with me. Okay. And by doing that, in order to do that, you need to abide by the law. All right. Let's I am in verse 9. Okay. All right, let's open silence.